What's going on, all you podcast listeners out there? That Phat Samurai Guy is here with Lady Phatblood, and welcome to another episode of the Verbal Nectar podcast. That's right. The ridiculous name brought to you by ridiculous people. That's right. And today, we got some movie news we're going to discuss, give our opinions on it. A lot of it is rumor-based, but we're still going to talk about it because that's why you're here, to listen to us rabble on. That's right. Rabble on!
About shit that does not matter.
Rabble on!
And I promise you I'm not foraying into ASMR, I'm just drinking tea, so
Rabble on!
I apologize. Stop trying to demonetize our channel. You always do that. But yes, I'm not trying to do ASMR, I promise you. But here, this is me drinking tea, see? Isn't that fascinating? Quality content.
Yes.
That's what this is.
Yes.
How do people make a living off of this? I will never do that again, ever.
Let's do the rest of the podcast in AMSR.
Fuck that shit.
But we are here.
Anyway.
We are here to talk about films and cinema.
Oh,
We're going to go through some movie news.
There's some news that I...
And then we're going to talk about our little adventure over the weekend, a martial arts movie marathon that I was really excited to put on.
It became a total disaster.
We're going to get into that. and I know when you guys see these movies that I picked and you hear our responses to them, you're going to be like, you guys are insane. You guys are insane. Okay, but to each his own. So we're going to talk about our experiences while watching it and, give our opinions at the end of the day.
It's also called Somebody Hit Their Breaking Point. And that somebody was me.
Yeah.
And I just, it got to the point in the day where I just fucking wasn't having it anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll
get to that. Oh, I'm sure they're really intrigued now.
Well, I'm just saying.
So, first up, a little bit of movie news. Oh, before that, let's talk about the Birds of Prey trailer, the second trailer that just came out. It looks a little bit better. The first trailer looked like garbage. The second trailer, the tone looked a little bit better. I do appreciate that the movie is going to be rated R. There was a hilarious scene where she's smoking cocaine and then she goes berserk and kicks everyone's asses.
Sniffing it.
Now, yes, smokes. I'm drinking a little bit too much here. That's what's going on right now. I'm drinking what we like to call Saucy Jack. That's right, which is half a cup of Sunkissed lemonade, half a cup of Sprite, and a little bit of sprinkle of Jack Daniel's Green Apple Whiskey. That's right. Mix that all up in a red cup, and you got yourself some Saucy Jack. You're a naughty one, Saucy Jack.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So if I flub a little bit, now you guys know why. But yeah, the second trailer looked a little bit better. But I am hearing recently, there's some controversial news I don't really want to get into right now because we got a lot to talk about, but supposedly the rumor out there is that people were really liking the movie. Early screenings, people were like, it was a lot of fun, it was a blast. They like it. So so far, we'll make our own judgment, of course, obviously, when we go see the film. Hopefully it's fun at this point. Yeah. That's all we can ask for, because we really didn't need a Harley Quinn film.
I personally have no investment in this.
No, there's no investment. We really like Ewan McGregor.
I got nothing against Margot Robbie, but I don't give two fucks about Harley Quinn. I'm sorry. I know everybody loves her from Suicide Squad, but I don't give a shit. And the trailer, I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I don't.
Well, you like the character from the Batman animated series.
I tolerated the character because when she was around 9 times out of 10, I got to see Joker.
Right.
And when she wasn't with Joker, she was with Poison Ivy, and I got a kick out of that.
Right.
And that one time where she was in a solo outing, in that one episode where she wanted to, prove herself to the Joker.
Yeah.
And she almost captured Batman. That was a good, solid episode. But aside from that, I'm not a big Harley Quinn fan. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Right.
So I don't have an investment in this. The trailers look like shit to me.
You're more of a fan of Harley Quinn when she's with the Joker, not necessarily her by herself.
Not necessarily, because everything. Okay, I've heard possibly that the character is fascinating in her own right, but in the animated series, everything she represents is kind of shitty. She's a doormat, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's cute, it's funny after a while, but it's like, okay, I'm done with it. I'm tired of her seeing her and getting verbally abused all the time.
Well, she stopped that, even in the cartoon, she stopped that.
So that's fine and good, but it's like, I don't give a shit about this. I don't feel like the trailers have been interesting to me so far. It looks like a mess to me.
Still, even after that second one?
It's an improvement over the first one.
Right.
But,
I think so.
If, I'm sure we'll go see it. I'm sure you'll twist my arm and we'll go see it.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I'll go in with an open mind, but I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to see. I'm not like that. I have no, like...
I just hope it's entertaining, but I am happy that it's R-rated. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a kick-ass vibe. You know what I mean?
We'll see.
Hopefully. Kick-Ass, the comic book movie, the first one. That's what we're talking about right now. Saucy Jack. You're a naughty one. Saucy Jack. I'm going to drink some more Saucy Jack.
You do that. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so fingers crossed. Hopefully it's an entertaining film. But we have been hearing, not necessarily reviews, but positive vibes from early screenings. Were all those people paid off just to give good positive feedback? We don't know.
Well, and that's the problem. You can't trust things anymore.
Right.
You can't. You've got so many things with agendas behind them these days.
Yeah.
You don't know if this movie is agenda based, and therefore you don't know if the audience that they showed it to would be the type that would feed into that agenda. Mm-hmm. We literally don't know.
Right.
So I literally will reserve my judgment until I see the film myself.
So again, hopefully it is a fun film. That's all we can ask for at this point. Other movie rumor news. So the second Bumblebee film is coming out, and it's going to be set in the 90s, possibly. This is a given. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Bumblebee. Everybody loves Bumblebee. And continuing his little standalone franchise, because the last film did decent. It did well. Yeah, it was a fun movie.
Even though apparently it was a disaster behind the scenes. Go figure.
That's what you were telling me.
That's what my cousin was telling me.
Apparently, guys, the whole entire badass, amazing, my favorite part of the film, Cybertron sequence in Bumblebee apparently was not in the original movie.
G1 fan service that we've been begging for fucking
it wasn't
years.
There. Apparently it was not there, and so what did you hear about it?
Well, everything.
What genius decided to put it back in?
I don't know, but my thoughts are why were you making this Bumblebee film, but yet trying to remove even more robots out? Because Bumblebee kind of made the same mistakes as the Michael Bay Transformers, in that you kind of take the premise, but then you remove a lot of the robots.
Right.
And Bumblebee was kind of guilty of that, because you literally just had Bumblebee and you had sprinkles of Optimus Prime.
Right.
But literally, that's all you had. We looked like we were going to get Starscream for a sec. It didn't end up being Starscream.
Right.
Obviously, we didn't have anybody else that we really were familiar with in that film. Mm-hmm. And
it was just that Cybertron sequence.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Which we were just like, Jesus, we could have had this the whole fucking time.
That made me want to go see the movie. That one clips of that one scene where they're all fighting on Cybertron. I was like, I felt like a kid again.
Yeah.
I was really excited. I think I woke you up like, oh my God, you have to watch this.
Yeah, probably.
And that's amazing to me that wasn't even planned, and that was like a last minute decision to put that in the movie. And I'm like, come on!
It just seems like the film was not really wanting to acknowledge its Transformers roots.
Yeah.
Initially, which is like, why were you making a Transformers film then?
Right.
But anyway.
So hopefully that's good.
I hope they continue, though. Mm-hmm. Bring in some more. We've kind of technically rebooted the franchise at this point. Obviously, the robots are all different looking, even though Bumblebee looks exactly as he does in his robot form that he did in the Michael Bay movies.
Right.
Except now he is the traditional Volkswagen Beetle.
Right. But
he changed, didn't he? By the end of that film, he changed, didn't he?
He went back to Michael Bay. Bumblebee form.
But Optimus shows up, and he looks old school. But everybody, we've established already that we can do G1.
Yes.
Okay. Which we did not do in the Michael Bay films.
No.
Whether or not they were classic car mode or not, we have established that you can do G1 mode. That's all I fucking want.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to do nods to the Michael Bay movies by what they did with Bumblebee himself turning into I think he was a Camaro, fine, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
But go G1. That's all I care about. But bring in some characters and make them look like their G1 counterparts. That's all. Just please, for the love of God, just throw us a freaking bone here. Just do fucking something like that.
Well, if they're smart, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't do anything like that. It brings us, old fogies back to the theaters again.
But
to see it. But hopefully it's fun. And it being set in the 90s does make sense.
Yeah.
If that's what they're going to do. But forget about that being the reboot. Apparently, the rumor out there is that, okay, we're going to do a super reboot. Bumblebee's still going to have his own franchise because he's popular.
Yeah.
But we're rebooting everything. We're getting rid of Optimus. We're getting rid of Megatron.
Well, no, here's the thing.
Which doesn't make sense because...
No, here's the thing.
Okay.
Now, in a perfect world, okay, I would be ecstatic about this news.
Okay.
And technically, this doesn't have to be a reboot. Okay?
Right.
Because Beast Wars is a sequel.
Right.
So it's not a reboot. Beast Wars takes place after Transformers.
Right.
You have the Maximals and the Predacons, which were the descendants of the Decepticons and the Autobots. Don't ask me how machines have descendants. Okay, I don't know how it fucking works. I don't get it. I don't question
I'm gonna need you to bend over.
Okay, we don't question these things.
Autobots, join in.
All I can tell you... Jesus Christ, where are we going with this? All I can tell you is that the Maximals and the Predacons were descendants. They were much, much smaller than their ancestors. They came along. They're still on Cybertron. I couldn't tell you how many hundreds of years it takes place after, but the thing with Beast Wars is that it takes place long after, but because of time travel, it also takes place millions of years before the 80s, which is the original timeline for...
And that's how they got
the Transformers.
Because of time travel.
They're fighting with the Maximals get into this scrap with the Decepticons, and the Predacons.
Yeah.
They get into this scrap. They accidentally initiate some time travel, gobbledygook, wibbly wobbly shit.
And they end up on Earth.
You don't know it's Earth at first.
Right.
But they end up on Earth. Mm-hmm. And they discover, both of their ships crash, and their ships are pretty much fucked. And they find that the planet is full of unprocessed,
Energon?
Yes, thank you. And it's so strong because it's unrefined that it fucks up their system. And so they have to figure out a way to survive. And so they scan the planet for life forms, and that's how they turn into animals. Right. And that's why they're beasts instead of robots.
Right.
So because they're...
Everybody got that?
Because they're more advanced.
Good.
Because they're more advanced.
Right.
And they're smaller. Mm-hmm. They look... Because it's gobbledygook. It's 1996. Don't fucking question it. Okay? This is when the show came out. It was very low tech. It was very early CGI. Very low budget. It wasn't the greatest looking show back in the day, but I love it. I love it. So
really good storytelling.
At first, first season is 26 episodes. And I always say that out of the 26 episodes, 13 of them are mandatory to watch.
Okay.
The other 13 are throwaways. Some of them are fun to watch, and some of them kind of have a little bit of character development.
Yeah.
But none of them are essential.
Right.
But 13 of those first 26 episodes are actually like, okay, this is for story.
Right.
But they're not necessarily one right after the other. You've got like the first episode, the second episode, and then skip a couple of episodes, and we've got another one that you have to watch. Skip a couple of episodes. Oh, here's some fan service, and then you got another one that you need to watch, and then you have another one you need to watch, and then you got the finale.
Right.
And then it leads right into season 2, and then bam, suddenly season 2 is a fucking contender for one of the greatest series of all time.
Right. Yeah.
And that is when season 2 is literally when they got their shit together. They clicked and they realized, oh my God, we have a fan base here. We have this well of knowledge of just, not well of knowledge, but this well of mythos and history behind us, because they didn't really realize what they had when they were writing that first season.
Yeah.
They had fan service and they threw it out there. You had the immortal Starscream Spark, which invades one of the Predacon bots, and he does this bootleg impression of Chris Latta, which is really, really cute for a while, and he's acting like Starscream, which is adorable.
It's one of the greatest cartoon voices of all time.
Yes.
Starscream and Cobra Commander.
Yes.
And many more, but those are the two favorites.
And so season 2 comes along, and this is literally where the show becomes so streamlined that you can't miss a single episode. Every single episode comes right after the other, like, boom, you have to watch it, boom, you have to watch it, boom, you have to watch it. It's essential, it's essential, it's essential. And then by season 3, by the end of season 2, you find out, oh my God, they find the Ark, which is where all of the Autobots have crashed, where they were lying dormant this whole time. Because you remember, if you remember original Transformers, they crashed onto the planet. They were there for a couple million years, and then they woke up, and then they were on Earth.
Right.
Okay, now season 3, it's a little hit and miss, but not so bad. But it's for the most part still a very, very solid episode. You get some really good shit in there. Now, again, in a perfect world, I would be ecstatic about this news. But the problem with Beast Wars, and this is something that is not going to translate to film, is that there were no humans in Beast Wars.
No
there
humans.
There were primitives in season 3. A little bit, there was one episode in season 2 where, spoilers, it's 20 plus years in the making, spoiler alert here, Dinobot in season 2 in Code of Hero sacrifices himself to save a little speckle of primitives that Megatron is threatening to destroy. But he chooses to, sacrifice himself, and he dies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great episode.
Now, by season 3, you see a little bit more primitive humans scattered throughout the series, but it's nothing so much that, there are sidekicks now. You get one episode where they kind of tag along with a couple of characters. Yeah. But they're not talking. They can't talk yet.
Right.
There's never any like Spike and Bumblebee shit going on.
So far as we know, is that actually what we don't know is this going to be, shot for shot based off of the or inspired by the animated series completely, or they're going to yank from the comic book lore as well, because apparently the comic book, remember that poster I bought you?
Yeah.
You were like, who are all these characters?
Yeah.
So who knows how much, this may be some completely new...
It could be.
It may have nothing to do with the show type of franchise. But they want to start a new franchise. So I guess that's what they were kind of meaning by rebooting the franchise.
Yeah, and so again, since I have no knowledge of the comic book history of Beast Wars, I don't know how a story that I'm familiar with would translate, because the original story is as such. If you follow the story canonically in sequence, they have a scuffle, they go back in time, they scuffle, and then season 3, the show gets canned, and all of a sudden, boom, yay, we won! We're going back to Cybertron somehow by magic, because we have to, we have no choice, the show's been canceled. Yeah. And then the show's just over. Right. And then we get the Alien 3 cold bucket of water to the face that nobody wanted called Beast Machines.
Yeah, that's
where
serious.
Optimus Primal lost his goddamn mind. They turned Rhinox into one of the most despicable, disrespected characters in any TV show you've ever fucking seen.
Rat Trap was in love with an alien
plant.
Who?
Oh, by the way,
What?
if you want to completely negate the journey of a show that had 3 seasons behind it, what do? Oh, The Matrix sent the Maximals back in time to go find the Beast DNA to bring back to Cybertron, because we can't just be robots anymore. And by the way, we did the same thing to another ship, and we sent them out to go get plant life. So, you fighting with Megatron who stole the golden disc? You know that thing? Oh, we planned that the whole time. We knew you were going to get lost. We knew you guys were going to lose friends in a war and people were going to die. Yeah, we knew all that shit was going to happen because we needed you to bring back animal DNA. Yeah. And so we sent back those other ships to get plants, and then they went through the same shit too. But this was all planned. That's how you fuck up a perfectly good story. It was all part of the plan.
Yeah.
So Beast Machines.
It's not necessary.
Interesting idea.
Yeah. Don't bother.
It fucked up in execution.
Don't bother. If you're curious, just remember Beast Wars, early 90s.
And you got to remember, it's 96 to 99.
Yeah.
Is when it came out. And the problem with Beast Machines is that it came out.
The animation's dated, but it's still worth watching.
The problem with Beast Machines is that it came out during a very sensitive time. No guns allowed.
Yeah.
No projectile guns allowed.
I don't know if you guys knew this. Probably not, because a lot of you listeners are probably a little bit younger than us. But when Beast Wars came out on TV, when it premiered, all of a sudden, parents came forward and were like, "Somebody think of the children! Please think of the children!" And they started to edit out robots shooting robots.
Well, see, the problem really was...
Are you fucking kidding me?
The problem really, really hit home. It was bad when there was some really egregious examples. It was when Fox Kids acquired the rights to the show. Anytime Rhinox, who had the biggest...
Yeah, the big Gatling gun thing.
The biggest, baddest guns of all. He was not allowed to use them.
Yeah.
Whenever he would shoot them for more than 2 seconds, he would whip them out.
Yeah.
Shoot them for maybe a half a second, edit it out.
Yeah.
And then one point...
It's terrible.
Air Razor punched Black Arachne in the face, edit it out. You can't have a female robot punch another female robot all of a sudden for some no fucking good reason.
It was bad. So I don't know if you guys knew that.
Sure.
Like, towards the end,
they
were trying to censor a show about robots fighting robots. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. So there's a little Beast Wars history lesson for you if you guys were curious on what the fuck was that. Because a lot of people are not familiar.
I just don't know how it's going to translate. Because they can't...
Yeah.
You can't...
We do know Michael Bay is not directing.
You can't have a movie for general audiences with no humans.
Right.
But I don't know how this concept is going to work with humans. And they're going to try to shoehorn two things in together. Because Transformers, by design, always had humans and robots together. Mm-hmm. It's just in the live action version, there were way more humans than I was happy with, and not enough robots.
Too much humans.
It was too many humans, not enough robots.
Right.
Where the cartoon was way a lot of robots, a lot of goofy robots doing goofy shit, which I was perfectly fine with, and little humans, and that was perfect.
Is it possible to pull a similar story, or do a brand new story with the same type of technology, and they do what they need to do, getting the animal forms, but there's just humans around?
Well, here's the thing.
Is it possible?
Here's the thing. They can't go original Beast Wars because it was a goofy premise.
Right.
Like, literally, first season, they literally looked like the animals. So when they came up with the Transmetals, that was the best thing that they could have fucking done.
Right.
Because the original first season, Cheetor looked like a cheetah, Rhinox looked like a rhino, Optimus Primal looked like a fucking...
looked like a rat.
Yes. Dinobot looked like a fucking velociraptor. Megatron looked like a T-Rex. Everybody looked like their animal counterparts.
Yeah.
And when they came out, with the Transmetals hit, it looked better. Like, it looked cool. It was their robotic form fused with their animal form, and then when they transformed in their animal form looked fused with their robot form.
Yeah, they did look better.
So it was just so much better. And then season 3, they came out with Transmetal 2 form, and that looked even more robotic, like techno-organic, you could say. And then they took that concept and fucking ran with it in Beast Machines. But anyway, so I would assume that they're going to go with the techno-organic, like more techno-organic, where it's very much kind of like what you got with the Dinobots in fucking the Michael Bay. What was it for?
Yeah. Age of Extinction.
Extinction.
Yeah.
Extinct, as in fuck that movie. It stinks. Yeah, that one.
It'll probably be a little similar.
I would assume they would have to go with the Transmetal form.
As long as it's entertaining.
Again,
I know.
Why? What cockamamie bullshit reason are they going to come up with? Because at least it's like as harebrained as fucking ridiculous as a concept as robots in disguise is.
Right.
At least robots turning into cars makes sense.
Right.
At Beast Wars, it's still bullshit, but they made the bullshit believable. They sold the bullshit. How are they going to sell this bullshit in live action form to general audiences?
Even though we didn't like the designs of the Dinobots in Age of Extinction,
I didn't like the designs of any of the Transformers.
People kind of was okay with the design. Like, I don't remember a lot of bad, like casuals. I don't really remember them going, "This is so fucking stupid. We got fucking T-Rex running around, T-Rex robots." So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. They're probably. This is what I'm thinking they're going to do. They're going to do their own story. It's going to be brand new. It's going to have nothing to do with the show.
Obviously,
it's going to have nothing to do with the comics. But they're going to steal designs from both. I mean, that's probably the only thing they're going to borrow.
They'll do as much as what they did with the Michael Bay films, where Optimus is a big rig and Bumblebee's yellow. That's as much as they'll do, probably.
Hopefully it's cool, man.
So Primal will kind of be ape-like, but are they really going to have like Cheetor and Dinobot and
Rat Trap?
And God.
And our favorite.
Rhinox.
What's our favorite from the Predacons?
Megatron?
No. Well, we love Megatron, but...
Waspinator? Yeah.
Waspinator. Yeah. Always getting blown up and getting his ass kicked.
And he was... he was the one that got left behind.
Yeah. And, so, fingers crossed. Hopefully, it's entertaining. We'll see.
I don't know.
The last movie news is again just a rumor, and it's one of those rumors. Excuse me. That as soon as you hear it, the first thing you think is, okay, who came up with this fake clickbait bullshit? Like, give me a fucking break, right?
Okay.
But then, if you think about it a little bit more in terms of agenda, what you just brought up, is it bullshit?
Okay.
It may not be bullshit. So the rumor we heard recently is that, or that I've heard recently, you haven't heard this.
Okay.
Is that, I mean, first of all, Black Panther, we thought it was very entertaining film. We did enjoy the Black Panther character more in Civil War. He felt more important to us. But, everyone's different. But in terms of him having his own solo film, I thought it was entertaining. And despite the wonky, bad CGI, it did give us one of the most interesting villains at that point in the MCU. So we did enjoy Black Panther. It was an entertaining film. And, Black Panther appeared. He had cameos, basically, after that, right? He was in Infinity War. He came back in Endgame. But that's all we've seen Mr. Chadwick Boseman playing the character. So the rumor that's going around, could be fake, could be true, is that we're changing it up. And in Black Panther 2, or any future Black Panther projects, Shuri is going to be Black Panther. Yeah, you know. What are those, Shuri?
Why?
Come on now. Agenda.
Wait.
And the rumor is, Chat, she's going to have the mantle.
Wait.
And the rumor is Chadwick Boseman is not happy. He's not happy about this. Now, I actually like Shuri. I actually like the character. The character is funny. And I love the fact that she's kind of like his Q. She comes up with all the Q to James Bond. She comes up with all the gadgets.
That's okay. In
that's the sister. That's the cute, adorable little sister.
Right.
Who's really smart. She makes all the gadgets and all that.
Yeah.
Right. I like Shuri the character. I think she's fun, and I think she has good chemistry with her brother in that world. But her taking on the mantle of Black Panther, yeah. Now see, what are you thinking right now? Are you like, okay, this is clickbait, this is bullshit, someone's just trying to, or is it a possibility?
I feel like Chadwick probably, rightfully so, asked for a raise, and Marvel said, "Oh, fuck you, we're going with your sister." This feels like a ploy.
You think so?
This feels like. What?
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Black Panther made $5 billion gajillion. Okay. So give the guy a fucking raise. Like, what's the problem?
Doesn't it?
Like, if that's what he asked for, we're just speculating right now.
This just sounds like something.
Like a punishment.
I don't know.
Or is this agenda?
This
because Brie Larson wants her all-female Avengers film. So let's get it started. We got our female Black Panther. There you go, Shuri.
Why would you... Okay, now we're getting into that really awkward territory where... Why would you fuck over a character that's fairly well established in Black Panther?
And people like
I have extreme issue. Like, I was really excited when I heard that Taika Waititi was coming back for Thor 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it has a shot of being decent.
Until I found out what happened with that.
Oh.
With Natalie Portman.
Right.
I don't give a shit if it's part of the comics.
Yeah.
You can go fuck yourself with the comics. I don't care. I don't read the comics. I don't care. Captain Marvel has a very successful run in the comics, which is open to debate because some people say the Captain Marvel comics now are great. Some people say it's shit. I don't give a shit. I don't follow the fucking comics.
Yeah.
Okay? I do not care about these dead-eyed waif women who come in, who can just come and go and have all this shit to say and throw their non-weight around and, don't like the way things are done and this and that and, but everyone's going to kiss my ass, so now I want to come back and all that. I don't give a shit.
Right.
So now I don't give a shit about this next Thor film.
Right.
Okay? So
you're
going to throw away Chris Hemsworth, which his contract is up anyway. But now we're going to this
Love and Thunder. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. So you've got these well-established in-universe characters like Thor, and now Black Panther.
T'Challa.
Where you have this mantle. Where fine, technically, if you can wield the hammer, you can be Thor. Whatever, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
If you have Tony Stark's armor, that makes you Iron Man now. If you have Cap's shield, that makes you Captain America now. Fine. Okay, fine. Whatever happened to taking a piece of somebody's uniform or thing or mantle and making it your own character? Why can't she be her own character?
Right.
Like, is that what she's going to be called, Black Panther?
I don't know. All I know is... the rumor.
Like, if his contract's up and he doesn't want to stick around because that pay raise ain't coming his way, which you're going to give Chadwick Boseman the shaft, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Because that guy, he's got talent, he's got charisma.
Yeah.
That motherfucker stole and owned his part in Gods of Egypt. Okay, stole...
That's a bad example.
Stole stole a role in a film that was dog shit. And he owned it like a boss. He knew he was in dog shit.
Yes, he did know.
He knew he was in dog shit. And he was like, you know what?
I'm just going to ham it up.
I am in dog shit. And you know what? I am going to come out smelling like a fucking rose. And he did. That's how good Chadwick Boseman is.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect example of how good of an actor he is. Where you come out of Gods of Egypt. Jamie Lannister didn't come out smelling like no fucking rose. Jamie Lannister looked like he was...
I don't want to talk about Jamie Lannister because it makes me think of Game of Thrones.
I am aware of that.
Fuck Game of Thrones.
Fucking everybody else looked embarrassed, rightfully so.
Yeah,
in that
Gods
movie.
Of Egypt,
I'm just saying, you're gonna throw him away because
we don't know what's going on.
I'm just saying,
this is just speculation.
If that's
so, again, like to go back to your example of you don't read the comics, stuff like that. You don't care if it happened in the comics. Well, I guess at some point, same thing does kind of happen with Shuri. I don't know if she becomes Black Panther, but she has an important part.
Okay.
Of being a leader in the comics,
well,
my issue is that it's too soon.
And then we go back to
it's too soon.
Then we go back to my original.
Because Black Panther, come on, he doesn't even have his own second fucking movie yet.
Okay, so it's
too soon for something like this.
Now we go to a deeper problem.
Okay.
Why are these changes being made in the comics? Is that agenda based?
Probably.
And if that's the case. Yeah. Then who gives a shit?
I just wanted to talk about it because, again, I like Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, and I think he deserved another solo movie. You know, at least, I mean, come on, this feels like, I mean, it's not as bad as Man of Steel, obviously, or BVS, obviously. It's not that bad, but I'm kind of getting a little bit of that Henry Cavill vibe where he never really got his chance after his origin story. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of getting that vibe a little bit with Black Panther. It's like, yeah, he made his cameos and, but he was already the shit when he made his cameos in his other films. Black Panther was his origin story, but let's get another adventure with him, with the fun-loving sidekick Shuri and the badass, his general. She plays the character of Michonne on Walking Dead. Let's get another adventure with these guys. Mm-hmm. Like, why are we jumping the gun here and we're just gonna forget it? And again, going back to the agenda-based thing, here's another one for you.
Oh boy, am I gonna get us?
No, you already know about this.
Oh, okay.
Here's another one for you. Why is it all of a sudden we don't want Superman anymore, and we're gonna start with Supergirl for any future DCEU movies? That was another rumor going around. Like, we're done with Henry Cavill. He's off doing The Witcher. We're sweeping that BVS Justice League fodder. That never happened. We're going to sweep it underneath the rug there. Yeah. And we don't have any plans whatsoever to put one of the most popular DC Comics characters ever.
Because suddenly he's not relatable anymore.
Yeah, he's not relatable.
Suddenly nobody in Hollywood...
So we're going to go with Supergirl.
Suddenly nobody in Hollywood knows how to write for Superman.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, magically, they were able to do it in fucking, 1978? I know some people don't like that movie. Fair enough. It was boring. It was slow. I know it was slow. It's fine. It's cool. Yeah. I get it. But...
Still a great movie.
Suddenly, nobody knows how to write for Superman? And he's just so unrelatable? Okay.
How about this? Is the problem no one could write for Superman today? In today's era. Batman's easily relatable because everyone can relate to someone who's been through trauma, someone who's suffered.
Yeah.
And, people can relate to that, right? They can kind of get behind the vigilante aspect a little bit. I always thought Superman was relatable. Is Batman more relatable than him? Sure. But I still think Superman's a great character. I still thought Henry Cavill had a great shot at being a really good Superman.
Yeah.
But he never got his chance. And it's literally Man of Steel.
Yeah.
That's it. Man of Steel is his only good movie. And he has a few moments in BVS, but it's after that it's just that's it. You're done. Yeah. So hopefully these so-called future agendas will not ruin our enjoyment and love for these characters and the genre of superhero films in general.
You know what I don't understand?
There's so many good movies out there, superhero movies, and there's bad ones too, but we want it to keep going and we want these to be entertaining, and bring in a new audience. Hopefully this Black Panther rumor stays a rumor.
What I really don't understand, and this has been going on for I don't know how many years now, but it definitely started. I mean, obviously with social media now, social media has been around for a while, obviously. And I know it hit really hard with Ghostbusters 2016.
Uh-huh.
And the thing that I don't understand about Hollywood when they do stuff like this is that they always want to spin it that it's nothing but, oh, well, any negative feedback we get when we do stuff like this, oh, it's just man babies who live in basements and stuff like this.
Yeah.
They never seem to understand, like, to somebody like me, I'm not a man baby.
Right.
I don't live in a basement.
You live in your mom's basement.
I'm a female, grown-ass woman.
That's right.
Late 30s.
Got your own job.
I've been working my...
Paid off your own car.
I pay bills. I contribute to society.
Yeah.
I do my thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like I'm none of those things that you profess.
Right.
To me, every time they do stuff like this, it comes across as so disingenuous.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this before, and this is going to sound really trite, but that scene in Avengers Endgame.
Right.
That final battle.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. When everything was going so beautifully. Everything. And I'm sitting there in the theater. I'll set the scene. Okay. I'm sitting there in the theater.
Avengers Endgame.
I'm sitting there in the theater.
Yeah.
And all hope is lost.
Uh-huh.
And Cap is just Cap. Everybody else it's just Cap. And he's just sitting there and he's like, it's down to me, man. I know I don't have a shot in hell, but I'm going to do what I can. And he's about to charge, and then he hears, Cap.
Yeah.
Cap, you there?
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
On your left.
Right.
And it's Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
And then the portals start to open, and you hear that teeny tiny little portals theme from Alan Silvestri that he started off with at the beginning of the film 3.5 years ago.
Black Panther comes in with his crew.
And
Doctor Strange.
And you see all the portals start to open, and the music swells up to this amazing crescendo.
It was great.
And all
Audience
this
cheered.
shit comes up. And
Audience
then,
cheered.
fucking Cap, Avengers, assemble, everybody charges, and the fucking Avengers theme comes up, and everybody charges, and Thanos gets his crew, and everybody charges from the other end, and I'm sitting here going, I forgive you, film, for all of your flaws.
Yeah.
I forgive you for making my ass go numb for 3.5 hours. I forgive you for your time travel bullshit that I don't buy for a second, and you waved away with your hands in 2 seconds worth of dialogue. Film, this is why I've been sitting here for 11 years waiting for the payoff.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going, yes, nerdgasm, yes. And what almost ruined it, what took me out of the film, suddenly the women form a line.
Yeah.
Women who have not even seen each other before.
Right.
And suddenly they have a quote-unquote moment where they all band together and fight for no reason other than they're women.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be empowering to me because I have boobs. And it was such a disingenuous moment for me where I'm just like, movie, you nearly fucked it up. And it seems so fake. And that scene...
Yeah. If they had history, maybe it would not have been as bad.
It was,
but they have not met each other.
It was that scene in Infinity War was pushing it for me. When Black Widow and what's her name? What's her fucking name?
Michonne.
What's her name?
She's Michonne now.
Oh God, what's Michonne's name?
I can't think right
fuck,
now.
man. We're gonna fucking IMDb that
yes,
shit.
it's fine. Go
and
ahead.
Wanda had that moment where Wanda's about to, And she's like, here you are, alone. And then all of a sudden, Michonne and Black Widow show up, and Black Widow's like, she's not alone. And then they all have their little three-way.
Yeah.
At least...
Yeah.
Black Widow knew Wanda.
Yeah.
And at that point, Black Widow had been in... They'd all been in Wakanda for a little bit.
They've all been there.
They'd all been on the battlefield for a while now. They'd all been fighting the same enemy for long enough to where it was like, okay. And, you know, what was her? Shuri? She was upstairs trying to help Vision.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody knew each other.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too much of a stretch that you'd have that little girl power moment.
Right.
So that wasn't that bad.
No.
Like, it was a moment.
It was
a girl power moment.
But we didn't cringe.
But it wasn't...
we didn't cringe.
Oh, we got 15 ladies on the battlefield that have a moment for no reason because titties. Because estrogen. Estrogen power!
For women,
you know, and that's what all of these things come across to me.
I was enjoying the fact seeing those female characters kicking ass when they were out there with the men separate in the main battle.
All of that was
I enjoyed all of that. I was like, oh shit, what you call from Guardians of the Galaxy fighting over there?
Yeah, yeah.
What you call's over there?
Mantis doing her mind power.
I was all for it
on the big guys, and she was doing her. Everybody doing their thing separately was fine.
Yeah.
But them all forming a chain to do their
they're getting ready for female Avengers.
That's what everything feels like to me when Hollywood does this.
Yeah.
And
it feels
forced.
And
they spin it as cave-dwelling man-babies or basement-dwelling man-babies.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's like, yeah, okay, you're going to have some of that. You're going to have 1% of people that are just trolls and that do that.
Oh, yeah.
But there are a lot of people like me who genuinely see that as bullshit when you do shit like that. I don't think it's cute. I don't find it... And Ghostbusters was almost like the catalyst where it became like... I literally saw somebody when I used to be on Facebook defend Ghostbusters 2016, even though it was not a good film.
There's fans. People thought it was entertaining.
When you see Ghostbusters 2016, there was no script. It was mostly ad-libbed.
Right.
They might have had a storyline, but that movie is infamous for taking hours to get a single scene, because of all the outtakes from the improvising that they did on that film.
Right.
The humor is dubious at best because everybody's just improvising. There was no like solid, script and dialogue. There was none of it. But some women were defending. Oh, because it shows that the women can do it too. Women can do whatever the fuck they want, but just because they do something like this doesn't make it good.
Right.
You're basically saying, I will accept anything that a woman does, whether it's good or bad, just because a woman did it. And that's a terrible standard.
Yeah.
That is a terrible standard for women to have.
Right.
This to say that, oh, well, a woman did it, and because a woman did it, I will like it and support it. It doesn't mean it doesn't make it good. It doesn't have to be good.
Right.
It's like that fucking horror movie anthology that we saw where it was nothing but female directors.
Oh my god, that was terrible.
Can you imagine if we went on our channel and said, I have to support this because women directed it and I'm a woman. We all have boobs, so I have to support the boobs.
Was it XX?
Something like that, yeah.
It
was something like that.
That was really bad.
But I'm just saying, that's a terrible standard and mentality to have.
Right.
That you can just like say, well, it's a woman now, so you have to support it. No.
Yeah.
I want a reason to. Yeah. And I have the same standard for, believe it or not, I have the same standard for male characters. Like, I'm not the biggest, X and X fan just because they're X and X. It's like, I need a reason to. It's like, I
you like this guy because you like the way he acts. You like this guy because he's a good comedic actor.
Yeah. It's like
you like this guy because he's a badass martial artist.
It's like Captain America. The character of Captain America, I didn't give two shits about.
Right.
Until his movies started like really growing on me.
Yeah.
And it was like by the time Captain America's story ended, it was like, oh my god. I was there. Right. And even Thor. The character has grown on me. Like Ant-Man, I can take it or leave it. Doctor Strange, at this point, I haven't had enough time with him. I could take it or leave it. Spider-Man, he's cute, but it's like, I'm not like so attached. Right. I'm fine with it. Yeah. But it's like, it's just, you got to earn that shit.
Yeah.
And with the women, it's almost like they say, well, like with Brie Larson's case, they were just like, oh, slam dunk. We have an Oscar winner now, and she's our first female-led character in the MCU, so everyone's going to love her.
I have a question. Her movie, despite what we thought about it, made not more money than Black Panther, but it was in the billion.
It was over $1 billion, yeah.
It was over $1 billion. Mm-hmm. Here's my question. For a movie that was that successful, over $1 billion, that's a lot of money. Uh-huh. Why isn't this sequel greenlit and done right away?
I've heard they've already lost their directors.
They've already lost their directors?
They're not having the same directors back.
What happened?
Don't know.
I'm just saying, you know how studios are.
Yeah, I know.
If something's that successful, greenlight that sequel, let's do it next year. Why is there this delay?
I think deep down, I know they don't want to admit anything.
No.
They will never admit that movie was not that good.
Right.
That the movie was mediocre.
Right.
I can't say the movie was a complete, utter trash.
No, there's worse superhero films than Captain Marvel.
The truth of the matter is, for an MCU outing, this was a C-grade film.
Yeah.
It was just not that good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I when you had the best of, when you were doing the best of clips.
Oh, for our YouTube channel?
Yeah. I had forgotten what I had said about the film because we've only seen it once. And when I rant...
How could you forget Twat Waffle?
No, I remember Twat Waffle, obviously. But when I watch a film and I have a very strong opinion about it and I do a rant for a video, I tend to spew out my bile.
Yeah.
And then I forget about it.
Right.
And if I don't watch a video for a long time, that movie was, early last year?
Yeah.
I will forget anything I said, with the exception of Captain Twat Waffle and Captain Mistakes Were Made.
You want to hear something funny?
What up?
When we were putting together our best of 2019 movie podcast, I was looking back at the whole list of movies that came out in 2019. I completely forgot Captain Marvel came out that year. I thought it was the year before for some reason. So
they had to come out before Endgame, and well, that's why we were so worried.
But I forgot. I completely forgot.
Yeah, no, it's a forgettable film, and that's the thing. I think deep down they will never admit it, but they know that movie was not that good. And like I said, watching that best of,
you just hate women.
I had forgotten how much that movie irritated me. It wasn't just her and her character being so just nothing.
Yeah.
But just the structure of the film, the way they used the music, just everything in general was just woof. Yeah. I had forgotten all about that. But I think they know that the movie was not that good. And the only reason it made so much, some people were speculating that Disney Marvel bought out some theaters.
I heard that.
Some were speculating.
I heard that rumor.
But, we'll never know. We'll never know if that was true. But
we'll never know.
I just can't believe that kind of a film made that kind of money overseas.
Yeah.
Because overseas, I know... Because here's the thing. Okay. Movies that tend to, American films that tend to go well overseas, like the Transformers movies.
Yeah.
I can kind of understand why they're big overseas, even though I can't fucking stand them, is because they're big, they're loud, they're explosions,
eye candy,
they're fast, they're blah, 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 blah. You can just go there and escape for blah, 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 2.5 hours, whatever. It doesn't matter. The story doesn't matter. The plot, the dialogue, the characters do not matter.
No.
This movie had none of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This movie does not have that overseas draw. The stuff that, breaks that language barrier.
Right.
That you come to expect from...
Because all the big special effects stuff really wasn't until the very end. Right?
Yeah. So I'm just how... I was really expecting this movie to tank overseas, and I cannot believe that overseas ended up really pulling it out.
Well, it is Marvel.
I guess.
And you had to see it for Endgame.
I guess at this point...
That was another draw.
I guess at this point...
So what we're trying to say is that we love superhero films when they're done right. And we have our fingers crossed for this phase 4 we got going here. Hopefully we get some good stuff for Marvel, for MCU.
I have not seen the trailer.
I want
the second trailer for Black Widow yet. I have not seen that.
No, we haven't seen it. But the first trailer we're already in. So we're all in. It looks fun. Black Widow does look fun. And fingers crossed for the DCEU that doesn't exist, but future projects, man. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash for this. I can't help it. I'm kind of getting excited for Batman. I'm kind of getting excited. Matt Reeves already posted his...
oh, yeah.
What do you call that thing?
I don't remember what it's called. Yeah.
Take 1, take 2, doohickey.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't think right now.
Yeah.
That production has started.
Yeah.
Kind of... Because we love Batman so fucking much. It's like, I can't help but to at least get a little bit excited. You know, just because it's happening, and hopefully, we got some good actors in this.
Yeah.
You know, our faith has been, we have a little bit more faith now that we see Pattinson act in stuff that's not Twilight.
Yeah.
So, I just hope it's fucking cool, man. I really hope it's kick-ass. And, I was thinking the other day, if this movie, The Batman, is really good, Pattinson knocks it out of the park. The directing's great. Does a good Selena Kyle. Overall, we got a great Penguin. Overall, it's a great movie, right? Mm-hmm. And critics love it. It does buku bucks at the box office. God damn Ben Affleck. God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it. I feel so sorry for him. Damn it. Come on. That's gotta hurt.
I know.
At least Jared Leto's getting a second chance with fucking Morbius.
Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued and interested to see that as well.
Yeah.
But damn it.
Yeah.
It's gotta hurt if this Batman's really successful.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for him. I was like, damn it.
And I know some people will vehemently disagree with me on this.
I will defend him in BVS.
I
will defend Ben Affleck's Batman in BVS.
I was the first
Me
one
too.
to roll my eyes in disgust when I heard Ben Affleck was being cast as Batman.
Hearing Ben Affleck cast as Batman ruined my day.
It was like the first...
It ruined my day at work.
It was almost the same... It was actually worse than when I heard about Heath Ledger being cast as the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
Because I knew who Ben Affleck was more than who I knew who Heath Ledger was.
Yes, Geely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Ben Affleck had more of a reputation than Heath Ledger. Like, when Heath Ledger was cast, I knew him as, that heartthrob who was the gay cowboy. That's literally because he did Brokeback Mountain.
Right.
And it was like, because if you don't remember, Brokeback Mountain was a huge deal when it came out.
Yeah.
The gay cowboy movie.
Right.
And that's what it was called back then.
Yeah.
And so when I heard about that, I was like, I even posted a meme on Facebook back in the day. Mm-hmm. It was about the news, because it was just like so absurd.
Yeah.
That was DC's big plan. That was their big plan, was to cast Ben Affleck as Batman. Mm-hmm. Skinny ass, scrawny, little boy-faced Ben Affleck as Batman. Yeah. And I was like, you guys are fucking idiots. What is wrong with you? And then, you started
ruined my day.
And then you started seeing, production stills. They started posting a photo of the cowl and how the outfit was going to look. And it's like, the outfit's looking good. And then you saw a photo of the Batmobile and was like,
the visuals in BVS are great.
And then I remember they showed a photo of him in the suit, and he had that shot where he's kind of looking down. You couldn't really quite see his face, but it was like, ooh, we're looking good here.
Looking scary. And
it was like, the more you were seeing of it, the more I was seeing of it, the more intrigued I was getting. And I remember, I had a lot of issues the first time I saw BVS theatrically,
yeah.
we had so many issues with BVS theatrically that we had to go see it again the next week to wrap our heads around it, because theatrically, BVS was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And the truth is, for us personally, of all the issues that BVS had, Ben Affleck was not one of them.
No. Nope.
He was one of the best things for us.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of those, well, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was fucking wrong, and I was wrong. I admit it. And
then Justice League happened.
And that's the thing about Justice League. I know exactly what happened in Justice League. Joss fucking Whedon happened. Because Joss Whedon came in and told Ben Affleck, oh, by the way, can you play Bruce Wayne as Tony Stark?
Yeah.
Could you go ahead and read all of your lines like Tony Stark for me? Thanks, Ben. Thanks, that's great. And Ben's like, oh, sure, yeah. I'm just going to go back to my trailer and drink a pint of vodka if that's okay with you. And, you know, if you watch both films, you can't tell me that his character wasn't drastically altered and that was not a directing choice. Okay, you cannot tell me that that's what happened.
Yeah.
And you can't don't give me that bullshit. Oh, well, he changed because at the end of BVS, he was like, "Oh, well, I Superman died and, I let him down and blah blah blah." And so when he goes to find the Justice League, to protect the planet, he's a different man. No, it's bullshit. It's called bad directing. And he was giving bad directing by a director who did not need to be directing the film that he was given. And I thought he was fantastic in BVS.
I was just thinking about it the other day. I was just like, oh man, I'm getting a little bit excited. This might be cool. And then I thought about Ben. I thought about that damn sad Batman meme. Yeah. And that was for after BVS. We haven't even gotten to Suicide Squad or Justice League yet. And it was already sad Batman memes. Now imagine this being huge. Imagine like this could be the Jared Leto Joaquin Phoenix Joker thing. Like, Jared Leto's getting his second chance now as Morbius. Yeah. But look at the success and praise Joaquin got.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, Jared Leto. Like, damn it. Wow. But anyway, we're getting off track here. But the Black Panther 2 rumor news turned into, let's talk about everything news. But that's what we do. That's what the point of the podcast.
It would not
we talk about cinema.
It would not be a video or a podcast or any kind of discussion between us without us going completely off the rails in a completely different stratosphere.
It's fun. But yeah, fingers crossed for any future properties. I am disappointed that Bloodshot is PG-13.
Oh
Bloodshot
my God.
Is PG-13. The name of the movie is Blood. Shot.
And Shot.
And the character can get fucked up like Wolverine and regenerate himself. His head could be... You get a shotgun, put to his head and blow up his head.
Take those 2 words.
And his head reforms.
Take those 2 words.
And they decided to make that a PG-13 movie. So,
those 2 words are not typically associated with, PG-13. Blood Shot is tailor-made for an R-rated film, but, fuck us. What do we know?
Yeah, so hopefully that's entertaining. I don't know. I'm still going to go see it, though. Because I'm curious, and we got to review it. So.
And you like wasting your money.
And I like wasting my money. Now, finally, to get to the section I'm sure all you guys have been waiting for, I've been curious about, the martial arts movie marathon.
That went horribly wrong. For me, it did. I don't know.
Well, for you, yeah.
It went terribly wrong, off the rails, and I gave up.
So, we're fans. You guys know us, okay? We are fans of martial arts movies, action cinema, all that good stuff. Watch the Movie Dojo episodes on YouTube. You guys know we love the good shit, all right? The shit that scratches the fucking itch. Well, once in a while, on several weekends that we actually have free time, when we're not working... we like to have, just for fun, shits and giggles. If we're not out and about going to see movies in the theater, we like to have little movie marathons at home.
Yeah,
I just don't watch stuff.
When I don't have a migraine and I'm ruining all of our weekend plans, we actually like to watch movies, yes.
And it could be, it depends on what mood we're in. It could be horror movie marathon night. It could be B-movie night. It could be old movie night, which we'll get to. But, I was like, you know what? I got so many damn martial arts movies I haven't even got to see or watch yet, so let's just have some fun. And I invited some fellas over, and we'll slowly go through what happened. Okay, so don't kill us, especially me. I know you guys listening are probably like, you guys are insane. All these movies are A+. They're 5 out of 5 stars. You guys are nuts. But, to each his own. We have to be honest, all right? We're always honest, all right?
I think I'm going to get more flack than anything. I think you'll be fine.
Well, you kind of have some of your reasons.
I think you'll be fine, though.
All right, so it was just me and you. The fellas slowly came in to visit and sit and watch movies with us. We got Sexy Sumo. We had, what you call our boy, Edgar Egg Shen Montalvo. And that was it. That was it, huh?
I think that's all.
I think that was it. Yeah, we had some cancellations, but either way, we invited some people over just to have some good martial arts movie marathon day, an exciting day of excitement, badassity,
fun.
Excuse me. That's the idea. That's what I hoped.
That was the plan.
That was the plan. So I was like, you know what? I haven't watched the Blu-ray yet, and I haven't seen this movie in so long. It's one of my favorites, Sonny Chiba movies. Classic, grindhouse, Japanese exploitation flicks called The Street Fighter. That's right. Came out in 1974. Directed by Shigehiro Osawa. I apologize for fucking up the name. And Lady Phatblood has not seen this movie.
Correct.
Right. So I was like, you know what? Let's start off old school, right? Let's get the old school out here.
Right.
See where shit has started. See where it began.
Right.
Right? Before we get to the modern day stuff. And we had a blast.
Right.
We had a blast. We had a lot of fun. Like I said, I haven't seen that movie in years. And I was just like, man.
You were scaring me because you were like, you've not seen Sonny Chiba like this before. I'm just warning you.
Yes.
You'll never see Sonny Chiba in the same light again. I'm like, oh my God, what is he going to be like, this awful, terrible person where he's like irredeemable and he's like this bastard of a character? And no, it wasn't like that. He was kind of like an anti-hero in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And he could be kind of a jerk, and if you look at it a certain way.
Yeah, he was not a nice guy.
Yeah, he wasn't like
Teddy Tsurugi.
Yeah, he wasn't like a great person or anything like that. But
yeah, just he just wants to get paid for his job.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with him. Don't fuck his money over.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna grab your sister and
he'll get someone violated. Yeah, we'll just put it that way.
Yes, but it's the plot. Basically, you have this tough karate master, Teddy Tsurugi. He takes it upon himself to protect a late businessman's daughter from the Yakuza, basically, with his famous sidekick, Rat Nose. Yes, famous sidekick. Yeah, so they were funny together, but what I really meant was, be honest. Have you seen Sonny Chiba act that way?
No, it was. And
in any other Sonny Chiba movies we've watched over?
I was getting a kick out of it because he was just so there.
Yeah.
He was so intense.
Yes.
And the faces he was pulling just to like gather all of his karate energy.
Yes. The swag.
Yeah. That too.
Now, what did you see? Do you remember what you said when you saw the way Sonny Chiba's, how his face expressions, how he was looking and acting? Do you remember what you said? That's what that reminds me of. Do you remember? You said that Sonny Chiba was channeling his evil Shatner. Yes.
God.
Evil Captain Kirk.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Evil Captain Kirk face expressions.
Oh my God.
Which I could not stop seeing.
That's right.
After you mentioned that, I could not stop seeing.
That's right.
Yeah. But Sonny Chiba's one of our favorites, and it was great seeing him in this movie. Movie's a lot of fun. You have over-the-top characters. So over-the-top that you thought maybe it was based off of a manga. I'm not sure about if that's true or not.
It had that feeling.
But then again, it was the 70s.
But the way he was... the way he was expressing the power and demonstrating the power of karate and what it could do, and how great it was. It had that feeling of, this is how manga goes about demonstrating how powerful it can be. It's like a trope. It's a trope now. It's a trope now in anime, in that, in how anime tends
Baki
to be.
the grappler.
Yeah, and a lot of those tend to be based off of manga, and how it's, oh my god, he's doing the technique. It's only 1 in a million people can do it. And it's like, it's very tropey.
Right.
But I mean, it could very well have been its own thing, and that's it just stemmed from that, and maybe a manga was inspired by that. I don't know.
But if you guys are unaware of the Street Fighter film, no relation to the video game Street Fighter, no connectivity. But we highly recommend you, if you guys love just fun martial art, badassity, old school movies, the Street Fighter, the original. Make sure you watch the uncut version. That's the one to start with, because the movie's got everything. The movie has. He knocks a guy's teeth out. He makes him spit his teeth out. He punches a guy on top of his forehead, and you see an X-ray view of the skeleton of the skull getting punched in the head. We have a Chiba rips this guy's dick off because he was trying to rape some chick.
He survives a fall in a car.
Yes.
By bracing himself, by doing a karate breathe.
Yes.
And does this goofy face, and his friend in the meanwhile gets severely injured. Because he didn't do a karate maneuver and prep himself for the impact.
He did the karate strengthening breathing technique.
That's right.
To brace himself. Don't climb out of the car when the villains have the crane and they're pushing the car over the bridge. Don't climb out of it, out of the window or anything. No. Just sit there. Fuck it. He's that badass. Fuck it. I'm sit there. I'm gonna do the breathing technique.
Yes, you brace for that
coughed
impact.
up a loogie there.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was perfectly fine after the car fell over to it. They should be dead.
His friend got fucked up.
But he's Terry Shirugi. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Ripping throats out.
Yes. Fighting
in the rain. Big body count. It's a good time. So we started off great.
Yes. And the next film.
Yes.
In the first 5 minutes. I thought we were going somewhere, and I thought we have potential.
You're talking about Revenger.
Yes.
2018's Revenger. You can watch this film on Netflix if you guys are curious about it. Directed by Seung-Won Lee, starring Bruce Kahn. Again, I apologize for those mispronunciations of those names.
Because initially, the plot was set up very quickly within the first 5 minutes, where you've got this dude. He's set up to be this, his wife and his daughter were killed, and he went on this killing spree looking for the dude.
He used to be a cop.
He went on this killing spree looking for the dude that killed his family, and so he got sent to this penal colony island with all these other criminals to
escape, Ray Liotta style,
to find the guy that was responsible for killing his family.
Right.
And then he finds this little girl, and he saves this little girl who's trying to protect her mom, whose mom was trying to protect her, but her mom gets really fucked up trying to save her. And initially, the setup is, we're going to get that traditional, he's lost his family, but he's gonna try to go after the dude that killed his family, but in the meantime, he's going to form this bond with these two people who've lost their dad and their husband.
Yes. And there's nothing but inmates on the island.
And if they had left it,
formed tribes.
And if they had left it there, it would have been fine, and we all would have been fine. But very, very quickly, we descended into something very, very different.
Yeah.
And it fell off the rails very, very quickly for me.
Because, I was kind of there with you, not as annoyed as you were, but I was kind of like, man, this guy's so badass. We had this opening fight sequence, and it was very serious of tone, and then all of a sudden, it was just like, what are we doing now?
We were surrounded by an island full of Droppos.
Droppos? If you guys are not familiar with the Droppo name, watch an old movie called... Actually, don't watch it. Watch the Mystery Science Theater version or Riff Track version of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Yes, that is a movie that exists. And there's a forced comedy character that will make you want to kill yourself called Droppo. So if you guys ever want to hear us, if you ever hear us say, that guy's the Droppo character, For this movie, now you know what we're talking about.
Basically, before Jar Jar Binks, there was Droppo.
Yeah, before Jar Jar Binks, there was Droppo. Yeah. But the tone, we were like, what is happening? It's like, where's this comedy coming from?
In the next hour and 40, 50 minutes, however long this movie was, the film was literally a tug of war between tones.
Yes.
And the movie could not pick a tone.
It could not pick a tone.
And that is what completely just drug it. It plucked me out of the film, and I could not settle back into the movie after that.
Right,
and I didn't give a shit after that. And
my issue with Revenger, I still have to recommend it if you guys are curious and watch it for free on Netflix, just to see the fight sequences, because when there's fighting, the fight sequences are badass, and you didn't even see the last two finale fights. You walked out. You walked out, and you went to do something else. And I was up here watching it. It was Mike. Big Mike was here. Big Mike came to stop by, and we were watching it. I was watching it with Big Mike, and the best two fight sequences you didn't even see. You walked out.
Yeah.
But there's this amazing fight sequence where the main villains. All the inmates that are basically his bitches, they go to the tribe, or they go to the inmates where the little girl and the mother are at, and they're taking over their little area, the little village hut area, and they're fucking everybody up. And Bruce Khan comes out there with blades and swords, and it's like, whoa. Like, it's like, holy shit, this is a fucking amazing badass fight sequence. We even got a motherfucking humpback character with two double-bladed swords trying to villain trying to fight Bruce Khan, and he fucks them up, and it's just like, holy fucking shit.
Okay.
And then the end finale fight when he fights the main villain at the end is long, lengthy, brutal, and pretty satisfying.
Okay.
My problem with the movie was, I mean, obviously for you it was tone.
Yeah.
For me, I just did not care what was happening in between the fight scenes. Now, you'd think with a lot of martial arts films, especially old school martial arts movies, some of them, the plots are amazing, or the plots are simple to follow, and they're entertaining. And a lot of times the plots are very basic and could be bland, and you don't really care because you want to get to the next amazing fight sequence.
Yeah.
I'm used to that.
Yeah.
But that's old school.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with improving that now. Not every martial arts movie has to have an amazing story with amazing characters because you're there for the fight scenes. AKA triple threat.
Yeah.
All right? That plot was a train wreck.
Fire.
It was a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see get a couple of dream matches with some of our favorite martial artists in triple threat. So... But it was just like, okay, just skip to just get to the next fight scene. But the problem with me, the fight sequences towards the end of the movie were way too far in between. Like, it was like, okay, I'm not in pain with the plot synopsis and the story that's going on right now. I just don't care. But we were waiting for like 30 minutes. There were like 30-minute gaps in between the next fight, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. When the fighting came, it was good. And I still recommend you guys check it out just out of curiosity. But it was kind of disappointing because it was just like such a badass character, man.
Yeah,
this is the first time I've seen Bruce Khan.
Yeah, and he had a really good presence and a good look, too. Like, he had that look of, that guy, he could be a stone cold killer.
Yes.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
He could either be a good guy or a bad guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Just imagine the plot of No Escape with Ray Liotta, one of the most underrated action films, in my opinion. Just imagine Ray Liotta being Bruce Khan. just a really badass, martial arts badass, and making those action sequences even more exciting. But the difference between No Escape and this one, I was interested and invested what was happening in the plot.
Yeah.
With No Escape. Compared to this, I was just like, dude, when are we getting to the next fight?
Yeah.
So, Revenger, not horrible, just I will never watch it again.
Right.
All right, next up we have Reborn,
which I missed basically entirely until the very end.
Yeah.
So I can't even talk about this one.
I'll briefly go over it then. What happened to you?
I I think
Were you asleep?
I took a nap in the other room.
You took a nap. That's when you left.
Revenger, I think I walked out and I just went to the other room and took a nap.
You got tired of the tribe of Droppos that kept hovering on our Bruce Conn character.
Yes,
and then you
so
said,
I gave up.
I'm going to go to sleep.
I just took a nap.
For a little bit, yeah.
And then I came back at the tail end of Reborn, and so I didn't know what was going on.
Okay. So Reborn came out in 2016. It was directed by Yuji Shimomura. Starring Tak Sakaguchi, fan favorite. He's very popular, especially in the cult film sect. If you guys have never seen Versus, I highly recommend you guys check that out, as well as Origami as well. Yakuza Weapon. He's been in a lot of low-budget films, but he is a badass. He is fun to watch. So Tak Sakaguchi's fun to watch. Now this one, again, it's the plot. Now, this plot is definitely better than Revenger. It's more interesting than Revenger. But it's not necessarily a great plot. But the problem I had with Reborn was pacing. Right? Now, it wasn't as bad as waiting 30-minute gaps with Revenger between the next fight. But the pacing and how the movie told its story seemed slower, like way slower than Revenger, and I was just kind of like, okay, I'm invested a little bit, but I'm not like all in. You know what I mean? I'm more curious just to see where the story ends up, right? So with the plot with Reborn is you have a legend, a covert soldier with a mysterious past now decides to once again unleash his beast inside of him to stand up for what he cares about. So you kind of have Tak Sakaguchi, who's this badass, but you at first we were kind of like, does he not remember who he is? Because he's going to see a shrink. He's having these images of him and dreams of him fighting a whole bunch of dudes in the forest. But it's just mostly he's just there to protect, I believe it was his niece. I don't think it was his little sister. I think it was his niece. He's there to protect her, but the mercenary group that he used to work for is basically coming after him because he left. That's the simplest, most way I can explain the plot, right? Mm-hmm. So they come after him. Now, the good news with Reborn is the fight sequences are breathtaking. They're fast, chaotic, insanely choreographed, but yet you could still see everything, which is amazing in its own. Like that's just like wow. Because usually it'd be just it's chaos, blah 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 blah, arms and knives and limbs flailing all over the place, and you're just like, okay, okay, I guess he killed those 3 people. But in Reborn, it's shot in a way where you can clearly see every movement that he's doing during the chaos. The fights, I highly recommend you guys check out Reborn. The fight sequences are very well done. It's just the story's average. The story's not terrible. It's just kind of average. My issue with Reborn is, this is a nitpick. This is a minor nitpick. He would do these warming up exercises, like movements. Mm. So he would move his shoulders almost like in a John Moxley kind of shoulder,
I did
like a shoulderific.
Yeah.
Like he moved his left one back, his right one back, his left one back.
Yeah.
And what was cool about the movie was when he first started doing it, it was like he was cracking, like you crack your neck, like you're getting ready to fight or you're getting ready to stretch or something like that.
Or I'm getting ready to rant.
Oh, yeah, right. What?
When I'm getting ready to rant.
When you're getting ready to rant on something,
yeah.
You do that movement, right?
Yeah.
So earlier in the movie, he's just walking down, like, he leaves the bar, he's walking down the middle of this alleyway, and you have all these person in the phone booth, person over here, this older lady, whatever, and they're all assassins waiting for him to walk down there. So he kind of knows they're there, so he's walking like normally, and all of a sudden he starts doing that shoulder rub. Cracking his bones and shit, and then blah 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 blah, and fucking takes everyone out. It's fucking cool. And then towards the end of the finale fight in the forest, which was amazing. The third act fight, he does it again, except this time he's using it in his movements when he has weapons. So he's doing that movement when he has weapons, getting loose, loosey goosey, basically. But when he ends up fighting the main guy, and I forgot what they call his rival. Oh, I forgot his name. But he has a rival. They used to work together, and, the rival basically was chosen. You could take this guy out, take Sakaguchi out. So me and Big Mike could not wait for them to fight each other, and unfortunately it was very disappointing. That end finale fight with him and the main rival was kind of like it wasn't what we expected. And it started off interesting when they were fighting each other, but what kind of ruined it, and I don't know if there's some deep metaphor or deeper meaning to the shoulder shrug movement style, getting jiggy with it. I don't know if that was part of the fight, but during the fight, they both dropped their weapons, and then they're both doing that movement. And it looked funny. It didn't look right. Yeah. And it kind of ruined the fight. Because maybe if they still had weapons and they're moving like that, right? Maybe it wouldn't look as bad. But why are you still kind of moving like that as if you have daggers in your hands, but you're just doing these little like hand combat strikes, snake style, almost like an animalistic style type movement, which I would accept if we're going old school. If we're going old school kung fu, or if we're going Shaw Brothers, Snake and Crane, martial arts of Shaolin, maybe I can accept that. But in a modern day setting, them moving like that with no weapons, it didn't look right. And it looked kind of funny. Like, we were kind of laughing. We were like,
right.
Well, you fucked it up.
Right.
Why are you moving like this now? It just didn't look right. So I'm sure I'll get a lot of flack for what I just said, because everyone, loves Sakaguchi, and I'm a fan too, but it didn't look right. And if you're hyping up the whole movie for these two guys to meet, I expect an amazing one-on-one throwdown finale here, especially after seeing all the amazing fight sequences in the forest. So I don't know. It took me out.
Yeah.
It took me out of the fight, and I was just like, eh.
Yeah.
And then the movie ended. So still recommend Reborn. Definitely, you guys check it out and let me know if you are listening to this podcast on our YouTube channel, That Phat Samurai Guy. Let me know in the comments if I completely missed the point of the end finale fight. I don't know. But that it took me out of it.
I know, but if visually it didn't work for you, it didn't work for you. I walked in on it having no context, and I was like, what the hell? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I missed something.
No.
I didn't say anything.
Right.
But I remember looking at it going, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I even accepted him doing that movement he busted out a shovel, which is a very odd weapon.
Yeah.
And he was doing that movement with the shovel. It's like, okay, I'm accepting that. But when you don't have anything in your hands, it just didn't look right. So, speaking of, I guess we could skip over.
Why?
Because speaking of stuff taking you out of the film, I think this is a good segue to go to number 5.
But we're doing this in order.
All right, fuck it. All right, we'll segue back to number 5.
This is the order that
I know.
This is the order that we watched today.
We'll just come back to that.
Explain.
So number 4.
Our train of thought.
Number 4.
Tonight. So.
Abduction.
So explain your reasoning for buying this.
Abduction.
Buying this.
Came out in 2019.
Purchase this digitally.
Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge Scott Adkins fan.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm still high over Avengement. I'm still just like, this is the greatest movie ever for the genre that it's in. Okay.
So it started with an A, and you thought, hey.
Well, I'm getting to it. Can I get to it? Okay. So I saw Scott Adkins. Oh, hey, this is Scott Adkins' newest film. So I'm like, well, fuck yeah. After Avengement, how could it get any lower?
What could possibly go wrong?
Basically, yeah. So I saw him. He's on the cover. He's holding this big ass gun. He's shooting the gun. And then I heard a rumor that it was kind of like a sci-fi movie, and I was like, that's different. That's weird. I haven't seen him in that kind of setting yet. And then I saw that Andy On. He's a pretty good martial artist in his own right, and he's popular in his country as well. He's in the movie too, so I'm like, oh shit, maybe we get a little bit of a dream match or team up. Scott Adkins, Andy On, right? Oh, so as soon as I hit play I think Sexy Sumo was there, right? He showed up at the time, I believe. I had to go take a shit.
You were sick. You weren't feeling that well because you were gone for a good 27 minutes.
We're not going to go into detail. I don't want to gross you guys out.
You missed
but I went
27 minutes of this glorious trash heap.
Well, I figure
so,
I bought the movie, so I can always come back and watch the beginning. So I'm gone.
So you're gone.
I'm in the shitter, and I keep getting constant text from you. Where are you? What are you doing? You need to be out here right now. Which I'm like, and I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking. What is happening? What's going on? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What you guys are watching is horrifying.
Yeah.
So I come back out from the restroom.
To which I have to then pause.
You have to pause the movie.
I had to pause the movie,
yes.
And I had to give you a brief rant/breakdown of what happened, which made no sense, which was perfect because at that point the movie made no sense.
Do you remember your rant a little bit? Which was epic, and I wish I would have filmed it because it was hilarious.
So at this point, 27 minutes in, basically, Scott Adkins, the movie starts off, Scott Adkins is wandering around this shitty-looking cardboard futuristic set where these dudes are mining these Resident Evil movie-style, harvesting these, like, robotic spider creatures off of these humans. His little daughter is locked up in this cage, and he tries to wake her up, but she won't wake up. And this bullshit alien with this stupid voice comes in and says, if you wake her up, it's going to kill her. And Scott Adkins is like, liar! And he's like, well, try it and find out. And then they have this little scuffle, and then he ends up getting thrown through this cardboard wall, to which you get this zoomed out exterior shot of this horrible composited screenshot of this bright magenta pinkish colored castle set in the future, I guess, and Scott Adkins is falling into the water, and then all of a sudden he pops up from out of this fountain in the middle of Vietnam in modern day.
Yes. Are you guys listening? Are you hearing all this?
And then he proceeds to start walking around modern day Vietnam, stuttering.
Yes.
Stuttering.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds a meme jacket. And he puts on this garish, horrible-looking meme jacket.
Ridiculously-looking jacket.
And he's stuttering while trying to ask, where am I? What, blah, 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 blah. And then he gets slapped and he realizes that cures his stutter, but only temporarily.
Yes.
And then, that pretty much brought you up to speed at that point. But I was angry when I ranted that the first time.
It was pretty epic. Everyone
that
was
the calm version.
Yeah,
that was the calm version of what
he
he had missed. But that was 27 minutes in, and at that point, nothing was making any sense. And to be honest, the movie never really made much more sense than that.
Yeah.
And
Edgar was pissed.
Oh.
Edgar was pissed when they show the director. His name is Ernie Barbarash. I said that right. At the end credits, Edgar was like, "Fuck you, Ernie." Keep in mind, Edgar Egg Shen Montalvo is very quiet. He rarely he's very quiet, but if something bothers him or he has something to say, it'll just come out of nowhere and he'll say it loud. But he's usually chill, laid back.
Egg's the type of guy that when he comes over and visits, we might get 5 sentences out of him on the day.
Yeah. But you'll remember the sentences.
He doesn't really talk a whole lot. You can have a conversation with him, but he doesn't really talk a whole lot.
So imagine.
But if he reacts to something, you done fucked up.
Yeah.
Or you did something good.
Yeah.
In this case, no, you done fucked up.
He was losing it while we were watching the movie.
Yeah, there's a movie out there called Roller Gator. He reacted to Roller Gator. Roller Gator made him mad. Roller Gator,
I'm just going to say this right now. As of this podcast is going out, of course this could always change because we watch bad B movies all the time. As of right now, I've seen Manos the Hands of Fate. I've seen Troll 2. We've seen the worst of the worst, right? As of right now, I'm going to say that Roller Gator might be the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, maybe we'll come back to that another time.
Back to Abduction. So there's all this meandering around. You get introduced to this other character. Oh, I forgot to mention the other character, the Andy On character.
Andy On.
Who's like this wannabe John Wick character who was like a former soldier who's with this nagging wife.
And he's kind of with his own little clique, like not kind of like a mercenary sect.
He is like a mercenary,
yeah.
And he's like on his last job.
Yeah,
and she's like nagging on him because she knows what he does, but she doesn't like it. But she stays married to him because they're in Vietnam, but she wants to go back to, I think it's China. I guess.
I hate characters like this.
And it's
hate characters.
She knows that she knows what he does.
Yes.
But she wants to nag on him about it anyway. Yeah. It's like, I don't need your blood money. Well, then, bitch, why are you still with him?
Yeah, get the fuck out.
Because you can't do anything else on your own. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, he just brought home tons of money.
It's like either get your shit together and walk the fuck out, or stop bitching at him.
Yeah, and enjoy the money.
You can't have both ways.
Yeah.
You can't be like nagging at him all the time. But anyway.
I hate characters like that.
So she ends up getting kidnapped by the aliens because...
By the aliens.
His former his former bosses that just gave him his last payout for the last job that he did set it up because she's got some of the special in her that the aliens want or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. This movie was so fucking ridiculous, I swear. Oh my god, this movie. Oh my god. But anyway, she gets kidnapped, and so he meets up with this doctor that is treating Scott Adkins because he gets arrested because he's going, he's like wandering the streets of Vietnam, rambling and shit. And so the doctor meets up with Andy On and is like, oh, hey, I want you to meet Scott Adkins because he's ranting about the same shit that you're talking about. And so they realize, oh shit, this is all really going on. And so they team up to go fight the aliens. And then you find out that Scott Adkins is from the 80s. He got kidnapped from the 80s. That's relevant somehow. I don't know.
And then the doctor that tried to help him, all of a sudden she's fucking old. But then she's old and she dies. And then later, the aliens... No. The aliens use her physical appearance as an avatar.
Something like that.
For no reason. And it doesn't go anywhere.
And there's like multiples of her running around now because of the aliens.
Yes.
So she becomes like...
And she talks about quantum mechanics.
It's really...
It was really bad.
It was one of... It ended up being...
gibberish.
Like the overall experience...
Gobbledygook.
The overall experience is one of those things where it was like, I was really mad when the movie was over.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
Because these guys deserve better.
Well, I was trying to put it in the perspective of like, everybody has to start off somewhere.
Yeah. I
got it. This movie was very ambitious.
Yes.
Vietnam, the country, their movie making is very... They're starting off.
We don't really know that much about their filmmaking over there.
Yeah, but
you could tell it was a low budget movie.
And that's the thing, their movies, they're starting off like the types of movies that they're making. We're just now starting to get them over here. We just got what's the movie that we just got? Fury.
Yeah,
we just got that over here.
Yeah.
And if they want to start foraying more into sci-fi over there, they have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But this was just too ambitious for what they were trying to do and for the budget that they had.
To be honest, we didn't really look that much into detail where the fuck this movie was filmed because we had New Zealand people in this movie. We had people of all nationalities in this fucking movie. So we don't know if it was a collaboration between countries. We don't know what the fuck. But none of that really matters. Was it a good movie or not? And it was not. It was not a good movie.
It was incoherent.
Yeah.
It was very... The aliens knew Kung Fu.
Yeah, no, remember what I said before that? I was joking, but like, if the aliens start doing martial arts right now, this might become the greatest movie ever. Remember, I was joking, right? And then all of a sudden, they started doing martial arts with really bad wire fu attached, and it did not make it the greatest movie ever.
It still wasn't.
So, because I missed the first 27 minutes, the next day I went back and I watched the first 27 minutes. To catch up.
And you got to see the meme jacket.
And I saw everything. But it was just really like, holy fuck, man. Like, we were just literally thrown into this world, but not in a good way. And just, Scott, I don't understand whose decision was it to make Scott Adkins stutter throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Scott Adkins, one of the most amazing, badass martial art actors we have going today. I'm hearing he's killing it in Ip Man 4 with Donnie Yen. I'm hearing he's killing it in that. And when you see him in this, it's cringe. It's so painful. I felt sorry for him.
What do they have on you, Scott?
I mean, it's just. I need to see the British embassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy from Avengement. He's doing that
Yeah.
throughout this whole fucking movie, and I'm like, you're action hero. This is how you want to show your action hero?
Yeah.
You know? And what made me go, what the fuck was that? Was when, during the stuttering, while he's walking down the street wearing the meme jacket, he goes straight Looney Tunes. He turns into Donald Duck. He turns into Daffy Duck. I'm not making this up, guys. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
Avengement. Undisputed. Uniboyka. Walking down the street going, I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
There's some people that really like this movie.
Really?
They like it.
Oh.
Now, there is a positive in this film. Believe it or not. And I know for some people it might be that Looney Tunes moment. The positive is, when there is action, John Wick style shooting sequences, martial art fighting sequences, they are filmed well. You can see everything. There's not a ridiculous amount of shaky cam or quick cut editing. The action is filmed good. See, the action is fine. Yeah. We have no problem with the action. The action may be enough for some people to be entertained by the film. So we're not shitting on people that like the movie. We're just surprised that they like the movie. But, you know, and you even, I mean, obviously the best part of the film is when you have evil, alien-possessed, controlled Scott Adkins versus Andy On. So we do have a little bit of a dream match. And that's kind of what I was hoping in the movie. That's the best fight in the film. I don't know why they decided to film it in a dark location. Why? Stop doing this, movies. All right, stop having your finale fights in the dark. But it just wasn't enough. I did not care what was happening. And even though it was a nice fight to see, you see these two badass martial artists going at it. It just wasn't enough. So, if we have put the gun to our head and pick something positive, the action's fine. You guys might like it. But it's just this was garbage. Yeah. This was a garbage movie, man. Like, this was like unbelievably bad. Yeah. Now, obviously, there's worse martial arts films out there, of course. Yeah. But the potential, it's like, even if you want to make it sci-fi type of action film, you want to make a sci-fi martial arts movie, how many of those are out there besides The Matrix? How many of those are out there? It's not really a lot of them, right? Yeah. But they should have kept their storytelling simple, easy to follow. You gotta establish these alien invaders. We knew nothing about them, nothing about their world. You know what I mean? They were just there for the harvest. They're harvesting us humans to probably take over.
I'm sure there was an explanation of what they were doing. I honestly.
Well, here's the plot. I got it off of IMDb. Are you ready? Here we go. This pulse-pounding action thriller pits two strangers against a nefarious alien force. With the future of mankind hanging in the balance, Quinn Scott Atkins, a member of a SWAT unit, steps out of a park fountain in an Asian city with no recollection of who he is or where he came from. As he pieces together clues from his past, he vaguely recalls his young daughter who has been kidnapped. Meanwhile, Connor Andy On, a former military operative turned gangster for hire, discovers that his wife has also disappeared mysteriously in the middle of the night. These two men with little in common realize they must work together to find their loved ones and thwart the mysterious abductors. That makes way more sense than the fucking movie.
I'm sure what the aliens were going after was there at some point. But honestly, it's that the movie fried my brain.
Yes.
And if the explanation was there,
Looney Tunes.
I have long since forgotten it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm sure it was there somewhere hidden in the leaves, but it's flown away from my brain.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
So
Abduction
that was
can go fuck itself.
That was the middle of our day.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was just about on the edge of just saying fuck all this.
And I was feeling bad because I invited everyone to come over to watch these movies, and I was feeling bad. It was like as if I made the fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? I was feeling guilty, like but I was hoping the next two films would help. All right, here we got up 2018's Master Z Ip Man Legacy. Directed by the legendary, iconic Yuen Woo-ping, starring Michelle Yeoh, our favorite, Dave Deacon Batista, Tony Jaa, and Jin Zhang.
Okay, now this is where I'm gonna get the flack.
You're gonna get the flack. It's fine.
Get a lot of flack.
No, it's understandable. Your rant, though. Go ahead. All right. You have not seen Ip Man 3. You've seen the first two Ip Mans. Correct. I have yet to show you Ip Man 3, but I kind of explained that this was a spin-off of the character, the antagonist from Ip Man 3.
So, if you want to talk about the plot or anything like that?
All right. So basically, while keeping a low profile after his defeat by Ip Man, Chung Tin Chi gets into trouble after getting in a fight with a powerful foreigner. My issue with the film. Do you want me to go after your issues, or you want me to get mine out the way?
Okay,
okay. So
you want to talk about anything?
This character was introduced in Ip Man 3, and it was interesting because at first, you feel like he's just some, mercenary in his own right. He's basically a debt collector type of guy, but he's just badass martial arts dude. He's poor. He's trying to earn money for his son. He wants to open up his own dojo. He's learned his own style of Wing Chun. His own style that's a little bit different. You got the northern and southern styles of Wing Chun. It's different from Donnie Yen's. The Ip Man character is Wing Chun. So he wants to make a name for himself and be successful. So he has good intentions, and he's motivated, but he's just going on in kind of a shady way of doing it. Well, he runs into Ip Man. First he gets really popular, and then they face each other at the end, and Ip Man beats him, and then he's kind of like he loses face, right? So then he kind of goes back to doing what he usually does. He kind of opens up this little small shop with his son. And at the beginning of the movie, you see the legendary, one of my favorites, Yuen Wah, is there. And he's kind of like the leader of the little debt collector type of mercenary sect type of thing. And basically Jin shows up to say, I'm done. I'm going to go off and try to be legit and open up my own shop with my son and stuff like that. Well, he's kind of annoyed by that, so then he sends Tony Jaa after him to kind of fuck him up. Tony Jaa's mad. You don't know who Tony Jaa is, but he shows up to fight, I guess, for fan service, and they do have a fight and whatnot. But while he's trying to live legitimate and walk the path of the righteousness, even though he's not famous anymore, he kind of has he's so. Doesn't want anything to do with martial arts. That's what the character is in this film. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He just wants to earn money honestly and support his son. That's all he wants to do. But of course, they pull him back in. He gets, because of his righteousness and his honesty and all that, he knows there's some drug dealing going around. And you find out from the foreigner, who could be the foreigner in the movie.
Yeah.
Fuck this movie. We can talk about spoilers. So Dave Batista is basically the villain. You can watch this movie on Netflix right now if you guys are interested. And he's doing some shady dealings. And Michelle Yeoh's character is a little shady herself, right? So he's just like, I cannot stand by and watch my village and city that I'm living in right now going under because of drugs, right? So then he fights the bad guys. He wins. Blah, 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 blah. He decides to whip out that Wing Chun that he's been hiding this whole time, and he fights the bad guys, and he wins. Now, we've seen this story a billion times before. There's an old movie with Gordon Liu called He Has Nothing But Kung Fu. He loses his memory, but he knows how to fight, So there's been movies like this before. My problem is with the film, I like the fight sequences. I know you're going to jump on that. That's the flack. Is that the flack you think you're going to get?
It's one of them.
Okay.
It's probably the main one.
So I'll let you rant, and then I'll bounce off what I liked about the fight sequences. Okay. But my problem with the movie was this movie felt so pointless. It felt so pointless that his character in Ip Man 3, in my opinion, was interesting, but it did not warrant him to have his own movie. Okay. But everyone's Ip Man crazy. We got the Legend of Ip Man. We have that, we got the prequel. We have another movie with called The Grandmaster, starring Tony Chung, I believe. Tony Leung. I'm sorry, Tony Leung's the star of that. Zhang Ziyi's in that. That's another separate movie. And then you have another Ip Man movie. I think it's starring Anthony Wong playing Ip Man. I think you watched some of that with me. These highlights of it. It's Ip Man TV series. Everyone's Ip Man crazy, right?
Right.
And that's fun. It's fine as long as they're entertaining. It's fine. But this was so unnecessary because it was just like, okay, you want to make 5 billion movies about Ip Man? Fine. It may be a little bit of Ip Man overkill, but do we really need, side character movies?
Right.
Is it really necessary? And this felt so pointless. It really did, to the point to where we were making fun of the next one, remember? We were like, it would be like, Ip Man Legacy 5. The janitor that worked at the school that Ip Man taught.
The guy that
watch his adventures
the guy that sold him a chicken once.
Yeah, right? Delivered his newspapers.
Right.
But yeah, it was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's just so unnecessary. Now, if the movie was amazing and they made that character more interesting, then, and I have a little bit of an issue, and this is where I'm gonna get different flack than you are. My issue is with Jin Zhang. Every single movie I've seen him in, martial arts, he's on point. Like, every time he's in a movie, whether he stars or co-stars, he's really good at martial arts, and he's fun to watch. I'm like, oh shit, Jin Zhang's in here. All right, we're gonna get some good martial arts. My problem with Jin Zhang is he's very bland.
Oh, is he the?
He's the main guy. He's very bland. He's not charismatic. If you have to compare Jin Zhang to Eddie Peng, who's another guy that's really popular, they're trying to push as a martial arts lead. In comparison, Eddie Peng, I guess, inches him out in terms of charisma. But it's just, he's bland. That's my problem with Jin Zhang. Every single movie he's in, I just see Jin Zhang. He can play a villain, he can play a hero. I see the same guy. But when he throws down the martial arts, though, I'm happy. Yeah. But that's my problem. It's just like, maybe he should not be leading films. Maybe he should co-star in movies. I don't know.
Was it better that he was not? Was he better?
Yeah, he was just the antagonist in Ip Man 3.
And it was better that way.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Right.
He was more interesting that way. Because who is this guy? Oh shit, he knows Wing Chun just like Ip Man does. Whoa, where did he learn that from, right? It's more interesting, Right. But it's just, Jin Zhang as an actor, I'm having issues believing superstar status yet. You know what I mean? Like, again, martial arts, physical ability, he's great. I'm like, oh shit, he's in the movie. We're getting some good fight, right? But it's just, I'm not going to hang up a poster of Jin Zhang. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's my issue with Jin Zhang as of right now, which could change.
Right.
Now, go ahead.
Well, one of the first things that I noticed with the film was how cheap it looked.
It did look cheap.
The movie screamed like TV movie to me, and I was like, this was a theatrical? Was it really a theatrical?
You notice the movie kind of seemed like it was filmed in one location.
Yeah,
it was all in that same street.
Yeah,
everything happened in that one street.
It looked like, it looked like they spent a lot of money on that one street.
Yeah,
but it still looked like a one street set that they just put all their money into, but it still just wasn't quite enough to make it look like anything more than a really expensive TV movie. And it was like, this is not
expensive TV movie.
This is not something that I would expect out of a theatrically released.
Especially when Yuen Woo-ping directing it.
Yeah.
This guy's the man.
And this is where I'm going to get all the hate.
All right.
The fight style.
Okay.
The sequences.
Right.
I did not like them.
Right.
I understand wire work.
Right.
I understand certain choreography styles, and I understand how some people utilize them differently.
Right.
What were you going to say?
Did you have issues with the fight choreography itself or the wire work?
It was the wire work.
Okay.
I've never been a fan of
wire
artificial looking wire fu.
Yes.
in modern day environment when it's not a fantasy element.
Right.
Like I don't shoot me, but I don't like the Matrix films. But if you're gonna do wire work in the Matrix films, it makes sense. So that type of movie, okay, fine, that's a pass. You're in a computer. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. You're gonna fly around and you're gonna do shit that doesn't physically make sense in that.
Or you said like fantasy or
in
like
the flying swordsman style films.
Wuxia
in series. Stuff like that, I will pass that till the cows come home. Like stuff like that.
To your credit, and this will probably save you a lot from the flack you're about to get. Yeah, you're a huge fan of Iron Monkey.
Love Iron Monkey.
And look at how ridiculous the wire fu was in that. Yeah. But it was fun.
Stuff like that.
And the setting kind of fit.
Where it's an older period
Once upon a time
even though
China
this
films.
Technically is a period piece movie, this is still...
It's still modern day.
It's
There's
still
cars and
more
shit.
modern day.
Yeah,
it's still
cars.
set more like in the... I think it was set in the 50s.
Yeah, it's 50s.
And
modern day. That's
that
modern
to
day.
me is more modern day than something set in like... the 1900s, the 1800s, the 1700s, where there's pre-technology going on, stuff where you can totally suspend your disbelief. And the whole idea of flying swordsman style films is that these people have somewhat supernatural abilities, and them flying around, it works better that way.
Shoot chi from their hands,
it just
blow up houses.
It's just easier. It's easier for my mind to be like, oh, it's fine. This,
Zoo Warriors
when you've got
at Magic Mountain. Or I think I fucked up that title. Sorry.
Go
ahead.
When you've got a movie that's based around a potentially real person, right? Okay, that fought a real person. Yes. Because Ip Man was a real man.
He taught Bruce Lee.
Okay, he was a real person.
He was a Wing Chun expert.
So you've got this character. I don't know if this particular character existed or not. Okay.
I'm not sure either.
Okay. So, but you've got this character that could or could not have existed, who fought this person in a film that is based on a character that did exist. Yes. In somewhat modern times. Yes. With cars driving around the streets. Yes. Yes. People walking around in 50s clothes. Yes. With 50s clothes playing. Yes. Or 50s music playing in the background. Mm-hmm. And people are flying around neon signs like they're fucking flying swordsmen. Yeah. That shit does not work for me visually. Yeah. So that was my problem. It's the choreography was too artificial for me. Right. And it was ruining everything. Yeah. For me. It's like if you want to do that, move that to another
setting.
Move it to another film. Right. Move it to another setting. I can handle that type of choreography.
Yeah, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
In another genre.
Yes, old school Shaw Brothers films.
But not in modern day. It would be like putting that choreography in
Undisputed films.
In an Undisputed or
Avengement.
What's that Donnie Yen, Jackie Wu, Sammo, SPL?
Killzone. Right.
Like that. Right. Like, put that choreography in Killzone, and I would be
if there was any wire work used in that,
it's not flying swordsman exaggerated where we're jumping. Right. Where we're jumping, but the wire is making us jump 20 feet into the air.
At the fight scene with him between Donnie Yen and Sammo Hung in the bar. Yeah. The club at the end. Yeah. All of a sudden they're flying around inside the bar. Yeah, that would take you out of the movie.
That's what I'm talking about. I understand that wire work is very common. Right. I understand that. Yeah. And I understand...
I'm more used to it in a modern setting because that was the style in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. Late 80s, early 90s. They did have a lot of modern day movies that did have that. But that was just... It was accepted then because that was just the style. Mm-hmm. Hong Kong cinema had a lot of that. Mm-hmm. But I think we've grown past that. I think with movies like On Bak changed the game, right? No wires. That was the whole selling point. Yeah. No wires. On Bak, Killzone, Undisputed 2, 3, and 4. When you see movies like this, it's hard to go back to seeing people flying around in modern day setting. I had issues with this. I ranted in my Movie Dojo review of Killzone 2, starring, again, Jin Zhang. He played the villain in that. The end finale fight was the best part of the movie. It had great fight choreography. It was exciting. And I don't regret buying it for cheap, but I did rant in my review because you got Jackie Wu and Tony Jaa, two heavyweights, versus Jin Zhang. It's a 2-on-1 fight. That's just old school throwback right there, right? And the fight choreography was great, and just the way they did things was great. And they did have some wire assisted movements for leaps and stuff like that, but it didn't look that like out of place. Like you're like, okay, we're just having fun now with the fight sequence. But then there were a few moments where the wire work for Jin Zhang, he's like hanging up, dangling in the air, spinning around. It just did not. You could see him hanging.
Yeah.
Like it did not look right. And every time there was a wire assisted move for Jin Zhang to be up in the air for 5 seconds doing kicks, it was taking me out of the fight. So I can't really disagree with you because that's how I felt with Killzone 2. A lot of people thought I was insane because they were like, they really love that movie.
Yeah.
But that was when you have such like when Jin Zhang fights Tony Jaa, right? They're going at it, and then there was this one part of the fight where Tony Jaa like flips during the fight, and his whole body rotates really quickly, and all of us all had the same reaction, like me, you. Except Edgar was quiet because he's Edgar.
Yeah.
But Manny was over here, Sexy Sumo, and he was all like, "Whoa!" We were all like, "Whoa! What happened there?
Yeah.
Why'd that happen? Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
You have a good fight here
between
two really good martial artists. Whoa! Less is more. I would prefer not to have wires now with modern day settings, but if you're gonna do it, just less.
I feel like it should only be there if it's for practical purposes to enhance something,
or to maybe help out a stunt.
That's
right.
That's what I'm saying.
Throw somebody through the window.
And in this case, I get it. You guys are on a bunch of neon signs, but why were you having fights on neon signs?
Yeah, why are we hopping around on neon signs?
Why were you doing that?
Fighting them in
why
the
were
street?
you doing that in the first place?
Yeah.
Why are you putting such a fantastical element in a movie that's supposed to be based on you guys are in a fucking opium war.
Yeah.
This is an opium war movie.
Right.
This is a movie where you're going to war against a gang boss that's peddling opium.
Yeah.
Why do we have fantasy style fight sequences in that type of a movie? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like if this had been a different type of film where this wasn't supposed to be so reality grounded.
Yeah.
Then maybe I wouldn't have had such an issue with it.
The Once Upon a Time in China series. Look at that ladder fight at the end. That ladder fight was all over the place. You have the fight where Jet Li versus the cult sect at the end. The White Lotus cult. That fight was insane. You have Donnie Yen, who literally has this cloth stick weapon that he whips around, and the physics are not realistic at all.
Yeah.
But we were loving it and having a blast with it. But obviously, if it's modern day, and Jet Li is flying around, I
suppose it depends on the circumstances of the film too.
Yeah, it's true.
In this particular, again,
if you're going to enhance a few things, it's fine. Like there was probably some wire work in a little bit in the Donnie Yen movie that we reviewed, when he was like he went nuts at the end. He's like, "Come on!" Remember that one? We were like, "Oh shit!" Donnie Yen's all bug-eyed. He's fighting that one dude that was going around hunting other masters and killing them. And we did a review on that. I can't think of the name of it right now. Damn it.
Oh. I can't think of it.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, but I can't.
Kung Fu Jungle, I think, is one of the titles for it. But that one, maybe a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
There was some wire enhanced stuff, but it wasn't jarring to where it would ruin and take you out of the fight.
Yeah.
And that did have that in here. And Yuan Wu Ping, he's the master of that. But for some reason, it just, like the setting, it just didn't work. Now, if I show you Wing Chun, I have not showed you that yet with Michelle Yeoh. She's rolling sideways like this. It's period piece.
Well, then I won't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you I won't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about the setting.
Yeah.
There's something
it's a good argument.
There's just something about the setting. Yeah. If it's modern day, supposed to be, if I'm supposed to be taking like Kung Fu Hustle.
Yes, there you go.
Kung Fu Hustle.
We love that
even
movie.
though that is not necessarily modern day, but there's vehicles in that film because it's kind of a modern. It's not modern day, but it's in like the 20s or 30s. Right. But that is a fantasy movie.
But it's a fantasy
that
film.
Movie is supposed to be out there and
it's
over the top.
It's a fantasy comedy.
So anything goes. And so
you can do the liar fight.
Yeah,
well,
so
the notes were killing people. Come on.
In that environment,
yes,
you can do whatever the hell you want.
And the movie establishes that environment in that world very early on.
Yeah,
it's not like it was a regular normal movie for a long time, and all of a sudden,
so
it's batshit
stuff
nuts.
like that. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. But in this movie, like I said...
Shaolin soccer. Were we supposed to take Shaolin soccer seriously?
But when you've got, again, you've got a movie set in the 50s where you've got, you got real-world problems going on and with an opium problem where a chick gets her fucking ODs on opium at one point because the gang lords shove opium in her fucking nose.
Why are we flying around on neon signs?
Stuff like that. It's just, I get it. It's just crucify me, whatever. But I'm just saying it just didn't.
No, it's a good argument. It is. It is a very good argument. So all in all, even though I still think it was a pointless film, I still, again, have to recommend it. Because when the grounded fight sequences pop off, you do get some really good shit, especially the fight in the restaurant with Michelle Yeoh there. You get some pretty good weapons fighting, some really cool camera work with zoom in and tracking shots, and the end fight with Batista was entertaining as well. So it's on Netflix. Go watch it for free, and make up your own mind. But yeah, there's if you want to watch some martial arts, it's got some good stuff in there. But again, we're still not succeeding here with our quest to have an entertaining, amazing martial arts movie night. Wow. We're still, obviously Master Z is a billion times better than Abduction.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. But still, we're still having blue balls with certain issues with each movie.
Yeah.
So I threw a Hail Mary. It's late as fuck at this point. We're all tired. I think Sexy Sumo went home. It's just me, you, and Edgar left. And I threw a Hail Mary. And I was like, because I want to watch stuff we've never seen before. Mm-hmm. I wanted to start off with Street Fighter because you've never seen it. But I was just like, fuck it. I want to experience these films for the first time with you guys. That's the whole point of these movie marathons, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I could have picked a crowd pleaser and saved the day, but I wanted to see something I've never seen, right? So, we had two choices left. We had The Final Master, and then we had Shadow, all right? Mm-hmm. I had a feeling, Shadow, which I can't wait to watch, and it looks gorgeous, and we own it in 4K. I chose The Final Master over Shadow because it looked like we were going to get some straight-up martial arts sequences, right? The movie's called The Final Master, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get some badass shit here, right? Shadow, even though it looked gorgeous from the trailer, I had a feeling that I could be completely wrong because we haven't watched it yet, but I had a feeling that maybe it might be one of those slow burn type movies, and we get some really good swordplay action sequences here and there, but that's not the focus of the story, which I could be completely wrong. It could be nonstop action fest, right? So I didn't want to risk it. So I went with The Final Master, which came out in 2015. It was directed by Hao Feng-zhu, and it stars Fan Liao. And again, I apologize for my pronunciation of the names. Now, I made the wrong choice, I think. I think I should have just said I picked something crowd-pleasing because this was not the type of martial arts film. Now, was this a good movie? I finished it because you checked out.
At this point,
okay.
I was batting. I was 1 for 5 at this point. I had the Street Fighter, and that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate Master Z. I just didn't really. You weren't invested. I wasn't into it. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't into it. So going into The Final Master, I was exhausted.
Yeah, we were. It was really late. We were watching movies all day.
This was when Game of Thrones was good. This was Game of Thrones.
Right.
This was literally Kung Fu chess.
Yeah.
Is what this movie was.
Yeah.
This was a guy comes in and he's literally playing chess with the local Wing Chun masters.
Right.
And he's moving himself piece by piece so that he can open up his own school.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure if I were coherent and fresh, This would have been a very interesting movie. Yeah. But when I am 5 films in
of disappointment
and 4 movies balls deep disappointed and exhausted and tired and it's like almost 12 o'clock in the morning, I'm done. And I got about 70% into this movie and I was like, I tapped.
Yeah.
I got pretty far.
Yeah,
I did, but I got to the point where I was like, I have watched every bit of this movie.
Yeah.
I understand what's going on.
Yes.
And I do not care. I'm going to bed. So I had
except for the movie where the guy gets his dick ripped off.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like I understood what was going on in the film.
Yeah.
But I was so tired
right.
that I didn't care.
Yeah.
My investment was at a 0.
Yeah.
And so I had to leave. But you luckily went back and watched the whole thing.
Yeah, because unfortunately with me, I was going in and out of sleep.
You missed the first 10 minutes again.
Yes.
Because you were gone again.
Yes.
And so you came in and you were given a slightly incorrect synopsis of what was going on.
Right.
So you only knew a little bit of what was going on. Mm-hmm. So you came in a little confused. You had to try to catch up, but you didn't fully understand what was going on.
And then I dozed.
And then you were falling asleep.
Yeah, and I kept dozing in and out because it was really late. And I remember waking up just in time to see the end finale fight. And I was like, oh man, this is some good shit. And then I turned over to Edgar, who stayed up the whole movie. Like, he's seen everything.
Yeah.
And I turned over to him, and I said, wow, that end fight was cool. So what happened? And he just like, I don't know. And he paid attention.
Yeah.
So this was not the movie to choose, unfortunately, because with the final master, with all its political intrigue and betrayals, and this person betraying this person, but to set this person up, so for in the future, this person gets fucked over, but then this person benefits from it, and this, and I mean, this was like, you literally, especially with the end, the third act, I felt like there was like 5 betrayals in one scene.
Right.
Like in one scene, I felt like this happened. Haha, we knew you were going to do this. So The Final Master is a good movie. I recommend you guys see it. But just remember, you gotta pay attention. You have to pay attention. So I ended up rewatching it the next day, finally understanding it.
Right.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
Right.
Now, weapons enthusiasts, and you guys are huge martial arts weapons enthusiasts, and that's your thing, you're going to be jizzing a lot, because there's a lot of weapons-based combat in this film. But it is a slow burn type of storytelling. It's not non-stop action thrill ride movie. And I think that's where I failed, assuming that this was going to be traditional kung fu. We're going to get a lot of fighting. It's going to be exciting, you know. And even though this movie is very well made, well directed, well acted, everything is top notch. When there is fighting, the fighting is very well choreographed. But it's not a crowd pleaser. Mm-hmm. That's the fault of and it's not the movie's fault. It's just I assumed, the final master, we might get some badass Shaw Brothers type of action here. Like, I didn't know it was political intrigue, betrayal movie.
Right.
But yeah, so it's a Wing Chun master has to defeat 8 martial arts schools to open his own school. Yet he has become a chess piece to the local power dynamics. And another big thing about the film was they were basically showing how the military was kind of taking over all these martial arts schools, and the concept of martial arts schools was dying. But they didn't want to be irrelevant, you know what I mean? But then they create these rules, but then so you defeat these 8 schools, you open up your own school, but then you find out it's all bullshit. You know, they're like, fuck this guy, we're not having this guy open his own school. Fuck this dude, he humiliated us. You know, so it's all bullshit. It's all politics amongst martial arts dojos or schools, and this was not a crowd pleaser. It was a really good movie. It's just not. It's not
the movie to watch when you've seen.
It's not a nonstop action thrill ride.
When you've just seen 4 movies
of disappointment.
Right.
So maybe if this was the second film, we would have enjoyed it a little bit better.
It probably would have been,
Yeah.
Because we would have been more alert.
Right.
It would have been earlier on in the day.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been what we were expecting, but we would have been like, oh, hey, well, that was different.
Yeah.
It would have been one of those.
Yeah.
But we didn't know.
Yeah. You know, it's funny.
Wasn't the thing to watch.
You know, it's funny.
Like midnight.
Even though I know, right? At midnight, starting at midnight. You know, it's funny. All of these movies that we're disappointed in, I recommended all of them. Oh, so I'm sorry. Fuck Abduction. Fuck that shit. But everything else, even though I had issues with it, I still recommend it. Because I see people enjoying these other movies. Like, they'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
But Abduction, what the fuck?
Woof.
What the fuck? Yeah, so... Yeah, so... I'm scared to have another one. I'm scared to have another martial arts movie marathon with people invited.
We should probably
maybe if it's just me and you, who gives a fuck?
We should probably stick to horror movie marathon. Those can go horribly wrong too, but
Shadow's amazing. There's like tons of sword fights, and it's like tons of fight choreography. You're like, fuck, this would have saved the night.
Well,
at least, you know, I don't know.
I think at that point we were so tired.
Yeah, maybe Shadow would have put us to sleep
and
too.
We were so worn out.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long day, so I don't know if that would have worked. But
well, I'm not giving up on the genre. Fuck it. I say we have more in the.
There's no giving up on that genre.
Yeah, we'll have more movie marathons in the future. With blind choices, it's hit or miss. You know, you're not going to succeed all the time. So
just no more buying movies with Scott Adkins on the cover.
Oh, by the way, listeners, Edgar pointed out that Scott Adkins didn't even shoot a fucking gun in that movie. So that cover that made me buy the movie was fake.
It was all a lie.
It was false.
It was all a lie.
Who knows what movie that was from?
But guess what?
What?
It worked.
Ah, fuck. So is that it? Anything else you want to talk about these movies? Is that a wrap?
Fuck, that's it.
All right.
That's it. It started to rain, and
it's raining now, so you might hear some little droplets.
I've circled around to not feeling well, so I almost ruined this podcast again. So there you go.
Oh, it's all good. Hey, we made it. We finished. So, all right. Again, thank you guys, you badasses out there. Thank you guys for listening to us. Another Verbal Nectar podcast episode. Don't forget that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, That Phat Samurai Guy. You can watch us knuckleheads, or you can continue to listen to us on FM Anchor or Spotify, and on Google Cast as well. You can listen to our podcast there. All right, but thank all you badasses for listening, and we'll have future episodes coming your way. I believe the next episode, we changed it up. The next episode, we are going to talk about old fogey movies. This is going to be our most viewed video.
This one's going viral.
This is going viral. We talking about old movies from the
1 million listeners.
How is the oldest the oldest movie is what? What? 19 what?
I think Rebecca is the oldest at 44.
Beauty.
I want to say. I think Rebecca's older.
Really?
I think so. I think Beauty and the Beast is 46 or 47.
So Rebecca was what date?
I think 44.
1944. Because you know the younglings of today.
I know.
Love the 1940s movies. No.
Wizard of Oz 39.
Oh shit! Wizard of Oz.
No, we watched Wizard of Oz. We totally watched Wizard of Oz.
There you go.
There you go. That's the oldest.
Them younglings.
You
That's right.
Them younglings.
trap dubstep listener younglings. You know they love them some 1939 movies.
Love talking about Technicolor and Alfred Hitchcock.
But yeah, we decided to flip the script and we watched a whole bunch of old school movies that we can't wait to talk about.
Some of which we had both seen.
Yes.
Some of which one of which we had neither of us had seen.
Yes.
Two of which I had seen, and two of which he had only seen. So
right.
it was quite a fun day that day.
Yeah, so stay tuned to see the whole list of movies that we watched, and we had a good day.
It was fun.
Unlike watching Abduction. All right, again, for the 5 billionth time, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.